Hello everyone, this is Zooc, and since yesterday I made a drawing video, today I decided to make an FAQ video. Now I've gotten, I would have to say, hundreds of questions in my inbox about various things related to art, drawing, and myself. And rather than answering each of them individually, I decided to make a video and answer as many of them as I can. Now, this isn't going to be the only FAQ video I make because I can't cover all the questions in just one clip. But this is part one, and I'm going to be talking about pencils, paper, tablets, and the most oftenly asked questions that you guys have sent to me. So here we go. The first question I'm going to answer is what kind of pencils should I use? I've always been using Faber-Castell. That's not because I love them, it's because they're like the only ones I can find here, and Amazon.com doesn't export the kinds I like. But for Europeans, you can find, this is the exact set that I use. You can find this on artifolk.co.uk. They're basically every pencil you'll ever need as a starter. There's nothing wrong with the set. I really like it. It's just the fact that I'm the kind of person that likes a lot of toys. So when I know that there's a better set out there, I want it, and I'm always on the lookout for something better than what I have. For Americans, I think you can find the 25-piece set on Amazon.com, but as a starter, there are a lot of pieces in that set that you probably will never get to use. So this one would be a better pick, I would think. It's only $21.96, and it has everything you would need as a beginner. It's not really the tools that count at the beginning, it's more the what you can do with them. It's kind of valid for everything, isn't it? Now, a brand that's better than Faber-Castell is Derwent, and a lot of concept artists use this brand, and a lot of professional artists use it. They seem to have a really nice texture from what I've heard, and they're really pretty good pencils. Some people swear by these. There are like two camps. One camp swears by Derwent, and one camp swears by Prismacolor. Now, I would normally go for Derwent because they're cheaper, but all the people that I look up to and admire as artists use Prismacolors, so that kind of left me with no choice but to get them for myself. Now, this set is perfectly fine for if you have like 15 bucks to spend. You get a ton of pencils, as you can see there, 12 pieces, and they're really good. I mean, you'll have them for a long time. There's no reason to switch. Now, if you're rich, if you're a rich prick, you can buy the wood box set, which is $75.90. Yeah. Now this has a lot more pieces, and of course it comes in a nice case. But you know, only if you have extra money to spend. That's the only reason why you would buy something like this. I personally wouldn't buy it because it's hella expensive, and for that money I could get like 40 Prismacolor pencils. Now we get to my favorite brand, which is Prismacolor. This set would probably be pretty nice. It's extremely cheap, surprisingly so. I expected it to be more expensive. But you get a lot of extra toys in there that can help you find your style, because, you know, a lot of people don't really know what their style is until they actually start drawing. And then they discover they don't like to use pencils, they like to use charcoal sticks, or they don't like to use pens, they like to use something else, or they like to use pens. You know, you never know what your preference is until you actually start doing it. But for me personally, I think this set is ideal. As you can see, I have purchased this item on June 5th, 2011. So it's in the mail right now, and it consists of 12 Prismacolor Premier Black 395C pencils, which is not your typical graphite. It's basically a black version of a colored pencil. So it has a very interesting output, so to say. I'm really looking forward to trying them out. So if you want to go straight to Prismacolor, by all means, you can do that. There's nothing stopping you. But I just think that it's better to experiment with various types of drawing materials before you go straight to pencil. I mean, I personally know what my style is now, so that's why I bought only pencils and that's it. But as a beginner, you can't really know what you like using. You might be the kind of comic book artist that likes to use a lot of ink and pen. You never know. If your pencil set does not come with blending stumps, I highly recommend getting these. For anything done in pencil and charcoal, they're really, really useful. And I know it says $37 there, but for a 12 pack, I think they'll last you an eternity. I've been using the same 3 for 3 years, and they're not even like halfway consumed or anything. The next thing you should get is a kneaded eraser. It's like putty, and you can shape it any way you want, and it makes for interesting textures. Like you can actually create a pattern on it with a sharp object, and then tap your drawing and make like a creature skin texture or something like that. It's really good. And the last item is an electric eraser, and this is used for very precise erasing, like tiny little points of white. And I bought this because since I do a lot of creatures that have irregular skin and a lot of warts and bumps and whatnot, this is really useful for creating highlights for those irregularities. So if you can afford it, definitely get it. The next question I've been asked is, what kind of paper should people use? For my previous drawings, I used Strathmore Bristol Smooth. Even though the title says smooth, the paper is sort of medium. Like it's not too smooth and it's not too grainy, so it has a pretty good texture for pencil and charcoal and even pen. I've done ink drawings on it, and it works perfectly fine. There's no reason to get any lower quality paper than that. It's the standard used by a lot of artists, and it's perfectly fine. Now recently I've done a drawing on vellum, my Marauder drawing, and I was really happy with the texture and the way it felt. So if you want to go straight to vellum, there's nothing stopping you. It's not like with pencils and complicated instruments here. Paper is very basic. Just get whatever you have money for. And the last type of paper, which I haven't tried yet but I bought and it's in the mail, is this Bienfang marker paper, which from what I've heard is sort of like vellum, but not really. I can't really describe the texture because I haven't seen it yet, but someone that I highly admire uses it, so I decided to give it a shot because from what I could see, it made for very nice shading and very smooth transitions. This one is really pricey. It's $16 for one sketch pad, so that's as much as 4 regular sketch pads. If you have the money for it, get it. If not, stick with the Bristol Smooth. Alright, next question. What tablet should I use? I use this one. It's an Intuos 3. It's an older model because they have Intuos 4 now out. 9 by 12 inch tablet. This one costs close to, I think it was $800 when I bought it, but you definitely don't need to spend that much for a tablet. I bought it because I was cocky and I thought that I needed a large surface for drawing, but that wasn't the case. As a beginner, you can do just fine with the Bamboo line of tablets. This one I think is $55, and it's more than acceptable for any sort of beginner, and even advanced. You really don't need such a large surface for drawing. I'm quite displeased with mine at the moment because it's impossible to carry in bags. If I travel anywhere or fly anywhere, I can't really put it in my bags because it's huge, and I can't put it in my backpack either because it's wider than carry-on luggage. So it's basically gonna stay in this country for a long time. If you want a tablet, get a Bamboo and get a small one, like an 8x6 or even smaller. It works just fine at any size. And brand-wise, you really shouldn't stray from Wacom. I mean, there's a reason everyone uses them. They're pretty good, so don't get some cheap piece of crap that you find in your local store. Just order a Wacom and you'll be satisfied with it, guaranteed. Now I'm going to answer a set of questions which have been flooding my inbox for quite a while now. First off is, how did you start drawing? My father was a graphic designer and he was an excellent artist. He used to do book covers, so when I was a kid I used to watch him draw, and you know, that whole aspiring to be like your daddy sort of thing, that sort of happened to me. So I started drawing and I started scribbling, and of course he totally destroyed my self-confidence when my drawings were piss poor compared to his, but I kept on doing it and I had a genuine interest for it, so eventually I got to a decent state with it. Decent by my standards. I don't know about anyone else, but that's the case. That's how I started. Next one is, how did you teach yourself? Well, there's one answer to this one, and it's pretty simple. Perseverance. You can't really teach yourself if you don't want to learn. And I wanted to learn. I bought a lot of books. I downloaded a lot of books illegally, but oh well. I downloaded tutorials, watched YouTube, watched other people's work. I did a lot of tattoo designs for a while because I wanted to be a tattoo artist, and that didn't really work out, so I just stuck to the sketching phase of it. There's just so many things you can do to teach yourself. There's nobody to tell you what to do. Just browse the internet, Google search. It's very simple. There's nothing more to it than that. If you have a real interest for learning how to draw, there are millions and millions of gigabytes of resources out there for you to download. There's no rocket science here. It's very simple. Just do it, as Nike likes to say. Where should I start if I want to learn how to draw? Well, first off, you got to figure out what you want to draw. Do you want to draw landscapes? Do you want to draw creatures? Do you want to draw comics? Do you want to draw fight scenes? For whatever interest you have, search on Google how to draw a landscape, and you'll get more sites than you can go through in an entire life. The internet is your friend, and Google is your best friend. If you want to start somewhere, start by reading a book on basic things. How to draw a tree, how to draw eyes, head, monsters, muscles. I've read a few books, not as many as I should have, on anatomy and creature and monster design. I ordered a few books from Amazon, which are pretty good. They teach you perspective and how to draw particular creatures like dragons and monsters and whatnot. I think it's the Dragon Art line. They have a bunch of books for fantasy enthusiasts. Just search for it on Amazon, and if you're into that sort of thing, feel free to buy them or search for them on the internet and download them from somewhere. And that's it. Should I go to art school? Depends on location. If you have money, if you have time, and if there's a decent art school around you, and I'm sure you can find a bunch of reviews on it, then yes, definitely you should go to art school. There's no pride in being self-taught. Sure, it's nice to brag about not having official instructions and whatnot, but if you have the opportunity to get a teacher that's looking after you and teaches you the basics and appreciates the effort you put in, then yes, you should go to art school. I would love to go to art school, but I lost faith in the art school in Romania because a graduate designed my mother's website, and it turned out like absolute shit. So I had to design it with no previous knowledge of web design, and it turned out much better than her work. So for me, art school here at least is a big no-no. But if you have the chance to go to art school, then yes, you should. I got asked what I do as a job when I'm not drawing. What I do is corporate graphic design, which basically entails that I design calendars, planners, posters, flyers, business cards, YouTube layouts, Twitter layouts, anything that has to do with company image and branding is made by me. And my mother and I have a company, and we work with insurance firms, banks every year, making promotional materials for them. So that is what I do for money. Now, last but not least, this is more of a demand than a question. For all the people out there saying, draw did your mothers not fucking teach you to say please? I mentioned in my profile that if I find a creature interesting, I'll draw it. I'm not gonna draw TB with murlocs in his mouth. I'm not gonna draw TB getting blown up by banelings. I might draw TB getting slaughtered by some WoW-like creature, or maybe Blizzard developers, but for the other bright ideas that some of you are having, no. I draw whatever I feel like, and if you want to watch it, then fine. If you don't, that's also fine. But just lay off the ordering around for a little bit. Anyway, I hope the others found this video informative, and I'll see you in my next drawing video. Bye.